2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrivetime Show.
Thrivetime Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab. Let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1, here come the business ninjas. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. No negative emotion, cause that's what business is. Always dominate, cause I got 5 kids. I will not lose, I don't break but bruise. They can talk about me, I can take that abuse. Here is the truth, while they make that excuse. I'll be up grinding cause the scoreboard's the truth. He is my mentor like my Yoda dude. He showed me the force like I was a young Luke. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Time for higher learning and higher earning. Taking you to the top like we're hiking Mount Vernon. We're changing the mindsets like we're incense burning. Passing on the magic like our name was Irvin. Serving up that knowledge like I was a servant. I cite what I say so you know I'm not a servant. It's Thrivetime Show, bringing the heat while fervent. Giving it to you straight in a world that's swerving. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation on today's show. We started off with a little intro there. I recorded that song in 2019, just kind of an obsession with what rhymes with oranges. I believe I recorded that song at 4 in the morning. Let me look this up. I want to get this correct here. Yes, this song was recorded at 4:35 in the morning on September 20th of 2019. Now, why am I sharing that with you? I find that many people that I meet, wonderful people, they tell me that the reason why they can't achieve success is that they don't have the time. They can't find the time. They want to have success, but they can't find the time. They're busy. Well, and so I thought I would just share with you how I organize conferences and work with clients and I'm a dad of 5 kids and record songs that rhyme with oranges at 4 in the morning. How do I do that? How do I record songs that rhyme with oranges at 9 on September 20th of 2019 at 4:35 in the morning, and host tours and conferences, and then how did I help a dog training business grow from 1 location to 18 locations? That's tiptopk9.com. How did I help Oxyfresh to grow from just a few locations into 500-something locations? How do I find the time to help great brands like Ronnie Morales and again, I'm just giving you examples of these are real businesses you can look up. I mean, these are real companies. MoralesBrothers.net. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to walk you through how I do it and what I do, and hopefully this is a benefit for you. So we're going to focus on three action steps that we can all take today to free up copious amounts of time. And so, the idea is how to get more done. So we're going to focus on today's show is how to get 10 times more done. And I'm taking notes here for you, okay? So step 1 is you got to do this. You must use a to-do list. What? Yeah, you got to use a to-do list at all times. And people say, what? All times? Yes. So that's why when today I had a conversation with a very prominent person. I won't mention their name, but they're a household name. And I talked to them and they said, hey, how are you? I said, great. And at the time of the conversation, they were on a golf course. And they said they were not golfing, but they were off to the side of the golf course. And they answered the phone and they said, hey, what's up? And I said, hey, can you do a very important call on Monday? And they said, what time? And I told them the time, and they said, okay, yeah, let's do that very important call on Monday at this time. So Monday at 9:30, we scheduled a time. It was crazy. I agreed on the time. They agreed on the time. It's wild because they had a calendar with them at all times, and they have a to-do list. So you must You must carry a to-do list. What? You must carry a to-do list at all times. Second, you must carry a calendar at all times. Now we have digital devices, which I have found I find that most digital devices are making people dumb. Now, maybe you disagree. Maybe you think that digital devices are helping improve the lives of people. I will tell you right now what I know is, according to Nielsen, Nielsen reports that the average American is now spending 11.3 hours per day consuming content. What? 11.3 hours per day. How is that possible? How can anybody get anything done if they're spending 11.3 hours per day consuming content? You know, that's wild. I mean, wow. How is that possible? I don't think it is possible. Okay, so one, you must carry a to-do list at all times. Two, you got to carry a calendar at all times. You have to do that. Back to I talked to another highly productive person. Again, this person, another person, if I mentioned their name on today's show, you would go, oh, I know who that is, because they're a household name. And I called them and I said, hey, Monday, can we hop on the phone call? Can we do a phone call Monday at 10 a.m.? And they said, absolutely. And you know how they knew that they could do it? Boop, boop. They have a to-do list and a calendar. And so I was able to book an appointment with them. Now, I don't know if this is an exciting story for anybody out there, but then I booked another appointment at 10:30 and another one at 11. And how was I able to book these appointments back to back to back to back to back? How was I able to do that? I was able to do it because the people I'm talking to all are highly successful, multi-millionaires, very, very wealthy. One of the people I talked to is a billionaire. Billionaire? A billionaire, yeah. And they all carry a, what's that word? To-do list and a calendar. Now, the rest of the world, they don't do that. It's bizarre. You'll call them and you'll say, hey, could you go out to dinner tonight? They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know what. They don't know if they can get together. They want to get together, but they don't know if they can, because they don't have a to-do list or a calendar. Yeah. Okay. The third, step 3, is you must stop surrounding yourself with nefarious idiots. Step 3, you must stop surrounding yourself with nefarious, that's the people who intentionally cause harm, nefarious idiots. So let me give you an example. The Bible talks about, it says, it says, for a companion of fools shall suffer harm. Or Proverbs 13:20 reads, he that walketh with the wise shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. This is some profound stuff. So you got to make sure you're not spending time with idiots. Idiots, nefarious idiots. The worst kind of idiots are nefarious idiots, but idiots in general. So I'm going to give you an example. Years ago, I was working with somebody, and via text message, they informed me that they would stop honoring their relationship with me, their signed contractual obligation with me. Via text, they sent me a message that said, hey, just so you know, I'm going to stop paying you $12,000 a month, or basically half of what I'm owed. And, you know, the kind of person that's going to do that is a weasel. They're a weasel. They're a nefarious weasel. And then from that point forward, the person, you know how it is, folks. They communicate only via email because they're a keyboard warrior. And so, you know, you could spend your whole day trying to sort out what makes somebody such a weaselly, wimpy individual. Like, what causes somebody to be a weaselly, wimpy individual? You know, someone who's cowardly and weak and feeble. What causes a person to be like that? What is it? You know, I mean, what? So you could spend your whole day trying to analyze it and think to yourself, what would cause somebody to be such a weaselly, wimpy individual? You could do that. Or what you could do, which is what I do, you could just cut them out of your life. So you look them in the eye, you talk to them, and then you say, you know, is it worth dealing with? And sometimes you have to turn it over to an attorney and let the attorney deal with it. And sometimes you have to just cut bait and move on. But you can't surround yourself with nefarious idiots. So let me give you another example. And I hope this is very helpful for somebody. We had a young lady that was working on my team recently, a young lady, and she dressed sharp. Wow, you could cut yourself looking at her because she was always dressing so sharp, right? That was her thing. She dressed sharp, shows up on time, in fact, early all the time. And then one day she shows up looking frumpy. That's the word I would use, frumpy. Some people might say, what does that mean? It just looked like she woke up, in a dumpster or sleeping in a dumpster, around a dumpster. Maybe sleeping with somebody who was sleeping in a dumpster. I don't know. But she just had that look of like this certain like a patina, like a certain nostalgic look about her, as though she had been maybe nostalgic about what she was wearing and decided to wear it for 7 consecutive days, and was nostalgic about the way she felt and therefore didn't want to take a shower to change that feeling. I don't know what it is. So when they came to work, I recognized, wow, this person has their countenance has changed. Their countenance. And somebody says, I don't know what the word countenance means. Jesus, by the way, in the Bible had the ability to determine, to ascertain someone's countenance. It's a person's face or facial expression. She changed. You could tell that something had happened. And so I talked to her. I said, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? She said, what do you mean what's going on? I said, you normally dress sharp. You're not in dress code. What's going on? She says, I had something come up, but I'm good to go. And I knew she wasn't good to go. I knew for a fact that she was either getting divorced, was on drugs, got in a car accident. But I knew at the end of the day, something positive wasn't happening in her life, despite the fact that she said she was doing just fine. And so I began training up another person to replace this person, knowing that this person was going to freak out and just disappear. And sure enough, they were a no-call, no-show. And you know why I wasn't in a bad spot financially or mentally or with my time? It's because I have a general paranoia. So step number 4. This is so important, okay? You must be of the mindset that you will trust but verify, or be paranoid. Only the paranoid survive, to quote Andy Grove, the former CEO of Intel, the founding CEO, the founding partner of Intel. Okay, you must be of the mindset that you will trust but verify, aka only the paranoid survive. If you do that, your life just gets better, because I knew that this person was going to quit in an unfavorable way, or they would just disappear. Something would happen. And how did I know that? Because I have the mindset that I will trust but verify. So again, I'm walking through the steps here just to help you get 10 times more done. You must carry a to-do list at all times. Step 2, you must carry a calendar at all times. Step 3, you must stop surrounding yourself with nefarious idiots. It is so important that you stop doing this. If you're out there today and you have nefarious idiots in your life, you can't get anything done. I mean, because they can't say their yes isn't their yes, their no isn't their no. Everything is a duplicit thing. I had a weaselly, wimpy individual recently send me a massive, that's why I only take on 160 clients. So I have this, and it was a client that wanted to work with us, and they said, hey, I want to work with you. And I said, great. We did their onboarding process to see if they were a good fit. And we did one meeting with the person. We did a meeting with them, and it was very clear to me that this person would not be a good fit for our program, right? Because why? It's just that they weren't willing to put in the work, et cetera, et cetera. Well, then this person out of the blue sends me a massive email stating to me how offended they are that I wouldn't take them on a client and take them on as a client, and how they can't believe I wouldn't take their money, and how they can't believe that who am I to say they're not a good fit? And so you know what I did? I blocked them. Step number 5. This is so important. Step number 5. This is so important, folks. Use the block feature often. Block people from your phone, block them from your email, block them from your life. You got to do that, because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you're going to have a very great and productive day that is going to be destroyed by an idiot. So this person, they're not a client. They're not paying me. I was very nice to them. I told them, hey, you know what? Given the fact that you're very busy, you have a lot going on, and given the fact that you're unable to, put in the work needed, I just think it's a better thing to not work with you. So I want to refund you your $1,700 and let's move forward. But they can't handle that idea. So on part 2 of today's show, and you see these testimonials of these wonderful clients that we've been able to help grow their company, and we've been able to help these people go from really just surviving to thriving, just understand that these people have learned the principles that I'm teaching you right now. These 5 principles. They carry a to-do list at all times, which is not a normal thing for humans to do. Most people in our culture do not carry a to-do list. 2, we had to teach all these wonderful clients to carry a calendar at all times. 3, we had to teach them to stop surrounding themselves with nefarious, weaselly, wimpy idiots. You just got to not surround yourself with nefarious, wimpy idiots. That's a big thing. Step number 4, you must be of the mindset that you trust but verify. If you're somebody out there that doesn't trust but verify, that's a tough deal, because you're going to be screwed often, okay? And I'm not being negative. I'm just giving you facts. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 75% of people steal from the workplace. What? 75% of people steal from the workplace. Oh, but my people would never steal from the workplace. No, your people would steal from the workplace. You know why? Because people steal from the workplace. And in fact, 85% of people lie on resumes. 85%. We had a guy showed up the other day for an interview and showed up on time, looked sharp, the whole thing, but had a really wild series of tattoos extending from his thumb to his pointer finger, snake-like artwork, and he had a pretty wild tattoo that was on his neck, and he had some things, pretty kind of a wild. He showed up, looked sharp, nice haircut, showed up on time, but there's something, and so I asked him, I said, hey, if I do a background check on your on you, am I going to find anything, any red flags? Just curious. And he says, I do have some crimes in my background. And I'm just giving you a figurative name, but he says, yeah, and my name isn't Carl. What? Your name? So again, so he admitted, yes, there are crimes, and yes, the name that I've used to apply for the job isn't actually my name. But again, I've been able to be self-employed since I was 15 years old, and I've been able to grow many successful companies, not because I'm a genius. It's just because I've discovered the patterns that make success and the patterns that make for failure, okay? Step number 5, you got to use the block feature often, okay? The block feature often, okay? Step number 6, okay? I'm just walking you through these. You must block out time for what matters. So today, as I record this show at 10:45 in the morning on the day that I'm recording this, I blocked out time. I made a commitment with myself, and then I recorded this show because it was a commitment that I made to myself that I would record this show, and I did. And so that's how that works, all right? So hopefully this is some helpful stuff here for you. Hopefully this is some stuff that's going to help you quite a bit. So on part 2 of today's show, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce you to, or I'm going to play audio of an interview I did with Michael Levine. Michael Levine was the former, he's one of the world's top public relations people back in the day. And all of us are learning new things about the world and how the world works. But there was a time where Michael Levine was the PR consultant for Prince and Michael Jackson at the same time. I mean, he was working for Pizza Hut and Nike at the same time. He was, and again, this is a top PR guy who was Charlton Heston's PR guy, George Carlin's PR guy. I mean, this was the man for PR. He and I have gotten to be friends over the years, and so I invited him to speak at one of our in-person Thrivetime show workshops. And I think that what he shares with you during this interview is going to blow your mind as he talks about what's required to truly become successful. He talks about the mindset that he's had to embrace to learn, that he had to embrace to call people over and over and over until they cry, buy, or die. He talks about the persistence needed. If I can give you another step number 7, you must follow up until success. You must follow up until success. And so Michael's going to talk about that, how he'll follow up with somebody 7 times, 10 times, 47 times. He'll do whatever he'll follow up until people cry, buy, or die. And most people, they want to be successful, but they're not willing to call someone 47 times. They want to be successful, but they don't have a calendar. They want to be successful, but they don't have a to-do list. They want to be successful, but they don't surround themselves with good people. They surround themselves with nefarious, weaselly, wimpy people. You must be of the mindset that you will trust but verify. Step number 4. Step number 5, you must use the block feature often. Step number 6, you must block out time for what matters. And step number 7, you must follow up until success. So again, on part 2 of today's show, we're going to do an interview with Michael Levine, the former top PR consultant of choice for many of the world's leading brands. And then on part 3 of today's show, we're going to play some client testimonials for you so that you can hear from real people out there just like you who are having massive success. And without any further ado, here we go.
I'm Michael Levine, and I thought I'd tell you this story. Maybe it'll be of some value to you. You know, about 25 years ago, our PR firm was running hot as hell, and we had 6 of the top 20 musical artists in America on the Billboard charts. No company even had 2, and here we are with 6. So we had the most number of successful artists in the country by far, but I still wanted to sign another musical artist who hadn't been on the charts for a while, but I loved and respected greatly. I wanted to sign the great Ray Charles. Ray Charles. I decided that even though I had all these big stars, I was going to go after Ray Charles, and I called him, and I ultimately did sign him. I did sign him, but I'd like to ask you, listening to this right now, to try to guess. Just close your eyes and try to guess how many times I called Ray Charles before I signed him. Are you gonna, all right, let's try to close our eyes, Here we go. Now, we'll do it multiple choice. Did I call him A, 10 times, B, 20 times, C, 30 times, D, 40 times, or E, more than 40 times? So now close your eyes. Now write down your answer. Write it down. Don't you cheat now. Write down your answer. I'm going to give you the correct answer in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. Correct answer is 46 times. I called Ray Charles' office 46 times. And you want to hear something crazy? I didn't even need Ray Charles. Here I had all the other big music stars. But I think the story for some of you may have impact when you think about all the tenacity required to go after your big dreams. I'm not talking about little dreams, talking about big dreams. Anyway, I'm Michael Levine.
We've all been through something that would give us adequate justification for being a lifetime victim. Or we could say we now have adequate motivation to become a victor. I used to stutter as a kid. I grew up poor. I was sexually abused as a kid. My best friend was killed when I was in college. My wife had a late-term miscarriage. My son was born blind. My dad died from Lou Gehrig's disease. And those are not my justifications or my excuses. We could all check the victim box, or we could check the box that says victor. Today's guest grew up in a home where he was raised by an alcoholic father, and yet he became the #1 public relations consultant of all time. Today's guest grew up severely dyslexic and was called dumb, yet he became a multiple-time New York Times best-selling author. Today's guest grew up in New York, yet he moved to California where he knew no one, and he went on to become the public relations consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for President Bush, for Michael Jackson, for Nancy Kerrigan, for Barbara Streisand, for 58 Academy Award winners, 38 Grammy Award winners, and 43 New York Times best-selling authors. And so we had the honor of having Michael Levine attend our last in-person Thrivetime show workshop. And when he spoke about why you need to decide whether you want to become a victim or a victor, I was taking notes, I was wowed by his intensity, and I was making sure that our editors were editing a few of the colorful metaphors and descriptive 4-letter words that he was saying during his presentation. And so we edited the show up so that it is now family friendly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my epic friend, and my PR consultant of choice, Mr. Michael Levine.
Michael Levine, folks, let's hear it for him.
Hello. Now, let's see. I want to make sure I can move around a little bit. Can you hear me okay? How are you? Good. It's good to see you. I really do want to move around a little bit and visit with you. I've already met some of you. I have never seen a place like this in my life. It's really fun. And I have never been to Tulsa before. It's cold here. Wow. I'm from California. This is cold. Anyway, I am really thrilled to be here. Thank you, Clay.
I am excited to have Michael here. One, because we brought him to Tulsa, and he's like, Tulsa, is that a place?
Yeah. Is this guy an original or what? Will you applaud an original? I mean, is this guy an original? Now, before I begin, I want to ask you a question. Now, you going to be straight with me or not? You're going to tell me the truth? Because, I want to know you. I want you to know me. Is there anyone, I've never been to Tulsa before, and I have, certain images in my mind and all that from California. I was born in New York. And is there anyone here, and feel free to say if you are, is there anyone here that's off-put, offended, off-put by what might be referred to as rough language? Anyone here? Now, come on, tell me. Colorful language. Hush up.
I'm sorry, everybody, in advance.
No? Okay, you all right? All right. That's cool. Because if you were, that's all right, too. I used to get a bell sometimes. Instead of cursing, I'd hit the bell. But that's all right. Anyway, listen, let me start with a confession. I'm going to offer you a confession. I fell into this public speaking business by accident. I had no training of any kind, pretty much like all the other things I've done in my life. I fell into it by accident. I had no training. And so if I had gone to some kind of Dale Carnegie course, I guess I would have been told to begin today with a story. And so I will. And I figured, what kind of story can I tell my friends? Does this move out more? Is there any?
I think you might have hit the max capacity.
I hit the max?
I think you hit the maximum capacity.
If somebody...
We have a crack squad of Mike extension team members. We can make it happen for you. Marshall's on it. The tallest man in the world is going to help you.
All right. So I'm going to begin with a story, and I figure, what story can I tell my friends in Tulsa? What story? And I'm going to tell you a story because I'm from Hollywood. I'm going to tell you a story about Hollywood. Okay? Now, it's a story about old Hollywood. Old Hollywood. You're too young to remember this. All right. Does anybody here old enough to know or remember the name of the literary agent Swifty Lazar? Anybody here know who Swifty Lazar? Swifty Lazar. You do? All right. Son, who's Swifty Lazar? The biggest literary agent of all time. Now, he passed away years ago, and he was real small, and he had big glasses, but he was the biggest literary agent in the history of Hollywood. And son of a... He spent 6 years of his life signing his biggest client. 6 years to sign his biggest client. Cary Grant. Now, you don't even know who Cary Grant is. Who knows who Cary Grant is? Let me tell you who Cary Grant is, darling. Cary Grant would be George Clooney times 1,000. Yes? Yes, say yes. Don't make me raise my voice. Now, Cary Grant, he signs his biggest client of all time. There's no email then. So he comes into the office, Cary Grant, in his office, signing his client 6 years, signing his contract. He signs his contract. Now, Cary Grant is getting ready to leave the office. Leave the office. And he puts his hand on the door, right? To leave, facing that way. And he says, Mr. Lazar, before I leave, I have one final question. Are you Jewish? And Swifty Lazar was reported to have said, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I guess he wanted that contract. Anyway, as I told you, I had an odd journey to get here today. I was born and raised 2.5 miles north of Ground Zero. Okay? I was born and raised 2.5 miles north of Ground Zero. I am one of the few living Americans that watched the World Trade Center be built twice. And I came from a bad home. I had an alcoholic parent. How many of you have ever either known someone or struggled with that kind of family situation? Raise your hand. It's not an easy deal. It's not an easy deal. You know that. Now, I had another problem. I had a disability that is better known today than it was 40 years ago. I had the disability called dyslexia. Anybody here know what that is? You know what it is? Raise your hand if you know what it is. A lot of you do. But you see, 40 years ago, it was a different deal. We had a different word for dyslexia then. 40 years ago, son, can I tell you what it was called? Dumb. Did you hear me? Okay. See, 40 years ago, we had a different word for it. It's called dumb. So, with an alcoholic parent and dyslexia, I was a lousy student. I barely graduated high school. Barely graduated high school. Now I'm 17, I'm out of the house. I got no money, I got no job, I got no education, I got no parenting. I'm scared and I'm skinny, and I got dyslexia. See, that's what's called, darling, bad cards. See? And isn't that something, friends? How your life goes is in large part how you play your cards. Isn't that something? See, some people get bad cards and play them well. Some people get good cards and play them bad. And a lot of people get medium cards and play them medium. See, if you're born on third base, you didn't hit a triple, son. See? You hear me? Don't make me raise my voice. So, now, I'm 17, I'm scared and I'm skinny. And I got no money, no job, no education, no parenting. And I got dyslexia. So, I had two passions all my life. I just talked to a 17-year-old kid here. I said, do you know what you like? He says, no, I don't know yet. That's okay. But I knew I was interested in two things. As a young person, I was interested in two things all my life. Why? I don't know. I just was. And I'll tell you how to figure out what you're interested in if you care. But I was interested in two things. I was interested in politics, and I was interested in the entertainment industry. Politics and the entertainment industry. Now I'm scared and skinny and I'm 17 and I'm thinking, what do I do? What do I do? I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in entertainment. And I said, you know what? You know what? I think Washington is just Hollywood for ugly folks. I'm going to LA where the pretty people are. How's that? Darling, I just look stupid. I just look stupid, see? I'm going out where the pretty people are. So I went out there and I met through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and so much of life is proximity. You did a big thing today. See, you don't even realize you did a big thing. It's called showing up. Showing up. So through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, I meet a woman who was working at Paramount Pictures. Now, at that time, in the middle 70s, there weren't a lot of women working at Paramount Pictures other than secretaries. That's interesting. Change. So I meet a woman, I say, what do you do? And she says, well, I'm a publicist. I said, that sounds cool. What's that? She says, well, I work at Paramount Pictures. I'm a publicist. I said, what do you do all day? She said, what do I do all day? I said, yes, what do you do all day? I don't know what a publicist is or does. And she says, well, what I do all day? Oh, I basically bullshit on the phone. I said, I can do that. I can do that. And I decided I wanted to be a
publicist.
Because I could do that. See, I can't do much else. So off I go. Now I start a PR firm. Here's the problem. I don't know what PR is. See, that's a problem. Isn't that something? But if you're motivated, you figure it out. See? If you're motivated, now Clay tells you you gotta have a break down before you have a
Breakthrough.
Now, why is that? And I'm gonna tell you, and if you got half a brain, you write it the down. Here's why Clay's right. Write it down. Because in the end, human beings respect wisdom, but obey pain. They respect wisdom, but obey pain. Okay? Isn't that something? Why did God design the world that way? I don't know. I'm going to ask him. Right along with, why did you make celery, cheesecake fattening, and celery naan? See, I'm asking that too. All right. So, off I go. And you know, the whole deal is, I told my friend Jonathan at dinner last night, it's a 4-step ladder, isn't it? 4 steps. The first step, this is how I did. How'd you do it? So he said, how'd you get your first client? Come on. Just look at, tell me how you did it. I'm buying you dinner. How'd you do it? I said, I'm going to tell you how, but you're not going to like the answer. He said, well, no, you tell me. Come on, tell me. I said, I'm going to tell you, but you're not going to like the answer. He said, all right, tell me. I said, all right, here's how I did it. You want me to tell you how?
We've all been through something that would give us adequate justification for being a lifetime victim. Or we could say we now have adequate motivation to become a victor. I used to stutter as a kid. I grew up poor. I was sexually abused as a kid. My best friend was killed when I was in college. My wife had a late-term miscarriage. My son was born blind. My dad died from Lou Gehrig's disease. And those are not my justifications or my excuses. We could all check the victim box, or we could check the box that says Victor. Today's guest grew up in a home where he was raised by an alcoholic father, and yet he became the #1 public relations consultant of all time. Today's guest grew up severely dyslexic and was called dumb, yet he became a multiple-time New York Times best-selling author. Today's guest grew up in New York, yet he moved to California where he knew no one, and he went on to become the public relations consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for President Bush, for Michael Jackson, for Nancy Kerrigan, for Barbara Streisand, for 58 Academy Award winners, 38 Grammy Award winners, and 43 New York Times best-selling authors. And so we had the honor of having Michael Levine attend our last in-person Thrivetime show workshop. And when he spoke about why you need to decide whether you want to become a victim or a victor, I was taking notes, I was wowed by his intensity, and I was making sure that our editors were editing a few of the colorful metaphors and descriptive four-letter words that he was saying during his presentation. And so we edited the show up so that it is now family-friendly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my epic friend and my PR consultant of choice, Mr. Michael Levine.
Michael Levine, folks, let's hear it for him.
Hello. Now, let's see. I want to make sure I can move around a little bit. Can you hear me okay? How are you? Good. It's good to see you. I really do want to move around a little bit and visit with you. I've already met some of you. I have never seen a place like this in my life. It's really fun. And I have never been to Tulsa before. It's cold here. Wow. I'm from California. This is cold. Anyway, I am really thrilled to be here. Thank you, Clay.
I am excited to have Michael here. One, because we brought him to Tulsa, and he's like, Tulsa, is that a place?
Yeah. Is this guy an original or what? Will you applaud an original? I mean, is this guy an original? Now, before I begin, I want to ask you a question. Now, you going to be straight with me or not? You're going to tell me the truth? Because, no, I want to know you. I want you to know me. Is there anyone, now, yeah, I've never been to Tulsa before, and I have, certain images in my mind and all that from California. I was born in New York. And is there anyone here, and feel free to say if you are, is there anyone here that's off-put, offended, off-put by what might be referred to as rough language? Anyone here? Oh, yeah. Now, come on, tell me. Colorful language. Hush up.
I'm sorry, everybody, in advance.
No? Okay, you all right? All right. That's cool, because if you were, that's all right, too. I used to get a bell sometimes. Instead of cursing, I'd hit the bell, but that's all right. Anyway, listen, let me start with a confession. I'm going to offer you a confession. I fell into this public speaking business by accident. I had no training of any kind, pretty much like all the other things I've done in my life. I fell into it by accident. I had no training. And so if I had gone to some kind of Dale Carnegie course, I guess I would have been told to begin today with a story. And so I will. And I figured, what kind of story can I tell my friends? Does this move out more? Is there any?
I think you might have hit the max capacity.
I hit the max?
I think you hit the maximum capacity.
If somebody...
We have a crack squad of Mike extension team members. We can make it happen for you. Marshall's on it. The tallest man in the world is going to help you.
All right. So I'm going to begin with a story, and I figure, what story can I tell my friends in Tulsa? What story? And I'm going to tell you a story because I'm from Hollywood. I'm going to tell you a story about Hollywood. Okay? Now, it's a story about old Hollywood. Old Hollywood. You're too young to remember this. All right. Does anybody here old enough to know or remember the name of the literary agent Swifty Lazar? Anybody here know who Swifty Lazar? Swifty Lazar. You do? All right. Son, who's Swifty Lazar? The biggest literary agent of all time. Now, he passed away years ago, and he was real small, and he had big glasses, but he was the biggest literary agent in the history of Hollywood. And son of a... he spent 6 years of his life signing his biggest client. 6 years to sign his biggest client. Cary Grant. Now, you don't even know who Cary Grant is. Who knows who Cary Grant is? Let me tell you who Cary Grant is, darling. Cary Grant would be George Clooney times 1,000. Yes? Yes, say yes. Don't make me raise my voice. Now, Cary Grant, he signs his biggest client of all time. There's no email then. So he comes into the office, Cary Grant, in his office, signing his client 6 years, signing his contract. He signs his contract. Now, Cary Grant is getting ready to leave the office. Leave the office. And he puts his hand on the door, right, to leave, facing that way. And he says, Mr. Lazar, before I leave, I have one final question. Are you Jewish? And Swifty Lazar was reported to have said, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I guess he wanted that contract. Anyway, as I told you, I had an odd journey to get here today. I was born and raised 2.5 miles north of Ground Zero. Okay? I was born and raised 2.5 miles north of Ground Zero. I am one of the few living Americans that watched the World Trade Center be built twice. And I came from a bad home. I had an alcoholic parent. How many of you have ever either known someone or struggled with that kind of family situation? Raise your hand. It's not an easy deal. It's not an easy deal. You know that. Now, I had another problem. I had a disability that is better known today than it was 40 years ago. I had the disability called dyslexia. Anybody here know what that is? You know what it is? Raise your hand if you know what it is. A lot of you do. But you see, 40 years ago it was a different deal. We had a different word for dyslexia then. 40 years ago, son, can I tell you what it was called? Dumb. Did you hear me? Okay. See, 40 years ago, we had a different word for it. It's called dumb. So, with an alcoholic parent and dyslexia, I was a lousy student. I barely graduated high school. Barely graduated high school. Now I'm 17, I'm out of the house. I got no money, I got no job, I got no education, I got no parenting. I'm scared and I'm skinny, and I got dyslexia. See, that's what's called, darling, bad cards. See? And isn't that something, friends? How your life goes is in large part how you play your cards. Isn't that something? See, some people get bad cards and play them well. Some people get good cards and play them bad. And a lot of people get medium cards and play them medium. See, if you're born on third base, you didn't hit a triple, son. See? You hear me? Don't make me raise my voice. So, now, I'm 17, I'm scared, and I'm skinny. And I got no money, no job, no education, no parenting. And I got dyslexia. So, I had two passions all my life. I just talked to a 17-year-old kid here. I said, do you know what you like? He says, no, I don't know yet. That's okay. But I knew I was interested in two things. As a young person, I was interested in two things all my life. Why? I don't know. I just was. And I'll tell you how to figure out what you're interested in if you care. But I was interested in two things. I was interested in politics, and I was interested in the entertainment industry. Politics and the entertainment industry. Now, I'm scared and skinny, and I'm 17, and I'm thinking, what do I do? What do I do? I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in entertainment. And I said, you know what? You know what? I think Washington is just Hollywood for ugly folks. I'm going to LA where the pretty people are. How's that? Darling, I just look stupid. I just look stupid, see? I'm going out where the pretty people are. So I went out there and I met through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and so much of life is proximity. You did a big thing today. See, you don't even realize you did a big thing. It's called showing up. Showing up. So, through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, I meet a woman who was working at Paramount Pictures. Now, at that time, in the middle 70s, there weren't a lot of women working at Paramount Pictures other than secretaries. That's interesting. Change. So I meet a woman, I say, what do you do? And she says, well, I'm a publicist. I said, that sounds cool. What's that? She says, well, I work at Paramount Pictures. I'm a publicist. I said, what do you do all day? She said, what do I do all day? I said, yes, what do you do all day? I don't know what a publicist is or does. And she says, well, what I do all day? Oh, I basically bullshit on the phone. I said, I can do that. I can do that. And I decided I wanted to be a
publicist.
Because I could do that. See, I can't do much else. So off I go. Now I start a PR firm. Here's the problem. I don't know what PR is. See, that's a problem. Isn't that something? But if you're motivated, you figure it out. See? If you're motivated, now Clay tells you you gotta have a break down before you have a
Breakthrough.
Now, why is that? And I'm gonna tell you, and if you got a half a brain, you write it the down. Here's why Clay's right. Write it down. Because in the end, human beings respect wisdom, but obey pain. They respect wisdom, but obey pain. Okay? Isn't that something? Why did God design the world that way? I don't know. I'm going to ask him. Right along with, why did you make celery, cheesecake fattening, and celery naan. See, I'm asking that too. All right. So, off I go. And you know, the whole deal is, I told my friend Jonathan at dinner last night, it's a 4-step ladder, isn't it? 4 steps. The first step, this is how I did. How'd you do it? So he said, how'd you get your first client? Come on. Just look at, tell me how you did it. I'm buying you dinner. How'd you do it? I said, I'm going to tell you how, but you're not going to like the answer. He said, well, no, you tell me. Come on, tell me. I said, I'm going to tell you, but you're not going to like the answer. He said, all right, tell me. I said, all right, here's how I did it. You want me to tell you how I did it? Okay, I'm going to tell you how I did it. You're not going to like the answer. All right, here's how I did it. Ready? Write it down. Will you write it for me? Thanks. Here's how I did it. Listen carefully, please. Somehow. See, if you want something bad enough, you'll do it. How will you do it? Somehow. See, you'll find a way. Through the front door, the back door, the side door, the chimney. Ask a mother of a sick kid how she did it. Okay? Now listen to the 4-step. See, it's 4 steps. And this is how I did it. So step 1 is called work for free. See, very few people will turn you down if you offer to work for free. See, work for free. Now, in that first step, remember, you lose, and all your jack friends at Burger King for 10 an hour are winning. So in step 1, you lose, they win. See how it is? But if you hang in there, you go up to step 2. Now let me tell you about step 2. Step 2 is you work below market, 5 an hour, they work 10. See, in step 2, you lose, they win. See, the Burger King gang still got you beat on step 2. See? You with me? Hang in. It's going to get better. On step 3, you work for market, they work for market. It's 10-10. That's called a tie. See, you finally caught the Burger King gang. See? Now it's a tie. And what happens on step 4? They work for 10, and what happens to you? You work for 1,000, see? Takes 40 hours to make a living, 40 hours to make a fortune. Now, what's 40 plus 40? Nah, see, you didn't like that. There's got to be a shortcut. No, what's wrong with you? By the way, who taught you to look for one? Who sold you on that plan? The same jack that told you not to carry a business card? Come on. You're too smart for that stuff. All right. So I start a PR firm. Now I get lucky and I work hard and I'm working 90 hours a week and all the rest. And because I'm not very talented, but I work hard. See? And I say yes a lot in the beginning. And so this PR firm grows to one of the 3 largest entertainment PR firms in the country. And I start representing a lot of very, very, very famous people. And I've represented Michael Jackson, and Charlton Heston, and Barbra Streisand, and David Bowie, and Prince, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Michael Fox, and Demi Moore, and Sandra Bullock, and Cameron Diaz, and George Carlin, and Joan Rivers, and Suzanne Summers, and Bill O'Reilly, and hundreds and hundreds of other big celebrities. I've given advice to 3 U.S. presidents, including one who just passed away. I've given advice to 3 U.S. presidents. both political parties. So that means I'm a hooker. See, I'm a hooker. You got it? Both parties. How's that? You didn't know I was a hooker, did you? Makes you like me better. I know. Easy. All right. So now I start to get obsessed with a question. As I'm representing these big, big stars, huge stars, I start getting obsessed with a question. And this question that obsessed me has obsessed me for 35 years. And it is really why I came today, to share the question and my answer. It obsessed me. I cannot tell you why it obsessed me, but it obsessed me. And the question was there something that these super successful people knew that we mere mortals did not know, or was their success merely luck, right place, right time? Were the Beatles just in the right place at the right time? Or was there something they knew that mere mortals like myself did not know? And if there was something, was the something transferable? Was the something transferable if there was something? Now remember, I didn't get good cards. So I was real invested in this question, because if there wasn't something and it wasn't transferable, then I'm See? Because I didn't get good cards. But if there was something and it was transferable, then maybe I could borrow it, which is a polite word for steal it. Steal it, see? So, off I go and I start asking the question, is there something that Oprah Winfrey and Bill Clinton have in common except a lot of dough? Is there something that Michael Jordan has in common with Bill Gates, except they got a lot of dough? Is there something? And at first it didn't seem that there was. So it seems like I'm But I stuck with the question because I was obsessed by it. And I asked the question again and again and again for a long period of time. Not a week, not a month, not a year, not a few years. Over and over again for years. And you know, the funniest thing happened. After a few years, I thought I saw in the distance, in the desert of my mind, a little green, a little patch of green. Now maybe it's a mirage. Maybe I'm crazy. She thinks I'm crazy. But I stuck with it. And I came to conclude that over time, there were three qualities present in all super successful people, 100 times out of 100. Now listen to me carefully, please. I said super successful. Friends, if you're sitting here today, all polite, looking good, smelling good, and you're just interested in success, not super success, just success, you don't need to write down a thing. You can go to sleep for the rest of the whole deal. You don't need to write down anything because you're gonna be successful without a word. I'm telling you, you are. I give you my guarantee. Why? Why do you say, thank you, I'm gonna be successful? Yes, you're gonna be successful. Without a word, you don't need to write down a thing. Well, how can you tell me that, Michael? That's such good news, but how could you tell me that? Well, in large part because, what's your name, darling? Gina? Because, Gina, you were fortunate enough to be born into a civilization at exactly the moment in human history in which your competition is overwhelmingly stupid and lazy. See, Gina, you don't got to do much to be successful today except show up sober. Because your competition is
Norma.
stupid and lazy. Overwhelmingly. I'm just saying. That's good news for you. But if you say, wait, hold it. I didn't come here to come for I didn't want to fly in coach. I want to go to the first class deal. I don't want to know about the success plan. I want to know about the super success plan. Well, if that's your interest, my best counsel to you over the next few minutes is start writing. Start writing. All super successful people had 3 qualities present 100 times out of 100. Maybe you didn't hear me. All super successful people, anyone that you venerate, alive or dead, had 3 qualities present 100 times out of 100. Natural law. Number 1, and I'm going to try to do it for you in a memorable way so you can remember it. We'll call them 3 magic O's. What do you say, 3 O's? Okay, 3 O's. Here we go. 1, obsession. An obsession. They had something that I refer to as an obsession, which is analogous to a burning maniacal rage, as if your life depended on it. Did you hear me, or do you need me to raise my voice, darling? I said an obsession, a burning maniacal rage, as if your life depended on it. Yes? Now listen to me. How are you in the back? Listen to me. It wasn't ambition. Guys, think about this. Close your eyes if you choose. You all know a bunch of ambitious folks, friends of yours, that can't find their way out of a burning building. But they're ambitious. It's not ambition, it's something deeper, more primal, more intense. It's obsession, a burning, maniacal rage, as if your life depended on it. Number 2, they had an optimism, but it was the most unusual version of optimism. It was not naive, like you watch this great documentary about Mr. Rogers, what comes around goes around, and all that stuff. It wasn't that kind of optimism, friends. It was a different one. And it was an optimism. Well, first of all, how many of you understand the concept or feel you have a modest understanding of the concept of paradox? Paradox. Raise your hand if you feel like you're modest. Okay, son, what's paradox? Contradictory statement. Okay. Love is beautiful, but love is painful. Love is joyful, Love is painful. So this optimism that our super successful friends had was paradoxical. It was an optimism. Now write this down. I can't, I'll come back there if I have to. Yeah. It was an optimism created after a militant need. It was an optimism created after a militant need. Militant need could almost be like an addiction. It was an optimism born after a militant need to face the brutal facts. And here, my dear friends, were the two brutal facts that our super successful friends discovered when they peered into the face of destiny. 1, the game is not easy. The game is not easy. 2, the game is not fair. The game is not easy, and the game is not fair. So do me a favor. Don't waste any of your precious time on this earth complaining about that a lot. That's a bad plan. See, don't sign up for that class, darling. When somebody says to you, I don't think the game is easy, let's complain about it. Say, I'm not signing up for that class. Don't sign up for that class. Hey, you know what, Mary? I don't think the game is fair. I know, you're right, but I'm not signing up for that class. Don't. That's a bad class. You don't have time for that class. That's for the other folks. But our super successful friends came to conclude, though the game is not easy, and though the game is not fair, with enough burning maniacal rage, the game is winnable, though not easy and though not fair. The game is winnable, though not easy and though not fair. Optimism. Greatest thing ever said to, I try real hard. I've known a lot of famous people. I don't know how that happened to me, but I did, and I try real hard. And I'm not perfect at it, but I try hard not to name drop too much in my talks, because that's cheating. But the smartest thing ever said to me on the topic of optimism was said to me by General Colin Powell in only 6 words. Now, pretty good. Profundity in 6 words. That's not bad. So he said, and I don't count my name as one of the words. See, I took that out. He said, Michael, he's a big general. He said, Michael, by the way, try to be profound in 6 words. Try it sometime. He said, Michael, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Look at me, please. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. So he was a military general, and what that means in English is this. If you take 10 men, or women, and you put them in a military environment, and you saturate them with optimism, those 10 men can fight with a force of 50 Those 10 can fight with the force of 50. If you take those same 10 men or women and you put them in the same environment and you saturate them with negativity, those 10 men can't fight with the force of 2. See, this is what's got me so concerned about our friends in the minority community. From the moment they take their first breath of air, they're told, you can't, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim. Now, son, if you want to be broke in America, or darling, if you want to be broke in America, I can tell you how to do it. It's real easy. All you got to do is think like a victim. And I promise you, your ass will be broke in America. Son, if you want to be broke in America, all you got to do is go home and think like a victim. You'll be broke. I promise you. Don't worry about it. I promise you, 100%. If you said to me, Michael, which would you prefer, a young African-American kid or Hispanic kid? Smoke crack cocaine or inhale daily belief of victimhood? I say, can I think about it? Can I think about it for a while? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me think about it. Okay. Now, the last is the last O. So the first O is obsession. The second O is optimism, but it's an unusual, paradoxical version of optimism. Now, the third is called obligation. All super successful people had an unnatural commitment to their word, particularly to themselves. Impeccable with their word, particularly to themselves. Let me tell you something I noticed, and maybe you have too, if you think about it. Here's what super successful people didn't say. Most folks say, you know, next year I'm going to lose some weight. Next year I'm going to lose some weight. That's what most folks say. Super successful people say 12 pounds, April 17th. 12 pounds. And you know what they do? They tell folks. And they almost always write them. You see all this on the wall? That stuff is powerful, see? Because that's a pledge now. See? Everybody can see it. Isn't that something? 12 pounds, April 17th, son. See? Written. They don't say I'm going to lose some weight. Because if you say I'm going to lose some weight next year, how's that work out? Generally not as good, right? All people were impeccable with their word, particularly to themselves. They had a plan, almost always written. See? What kind of jack goes on a car trip without a map? Tell me about that. They have, and by the way, if I say to you, hey kid, what's your name? Justin. Brother Justin, you got a plan? Oh yeah, I got a plan. I said, great, Justin, that's great. How old are you, son? 37. I got ties older than you, son. Okay, now I say, Justin, you got a plan? Yeah, I got one. Great. Show it to me, son. Well, I got it in my head. Does Justin have a plan? Or does Justin have a bunch of pretty ideas floating around his adorable head? He don't have a plan. Now, he's so dumb he doesn't know it. He thinks he's got a plan. See? He don't have a plan. You got a plan that's written. Almost always shared with folks, particularly folks who are tough on you, who will be willing, not delighted, but willing to stick their foot in your rectum if necessary. And you know, it was said to me by a black preacher once, and it was so interesting and so true. I used to host a TV show, and he said something. He says, you know, Michael, very few people in the world wouldn't be better off without a good cussing out about once a month. Isn't that something? So I called him up 10 years later. I said, Pastor, you know, you said the most interesting thing to me 10 years ago. You said, very few people in the world wouldn't be better off without a good cussing out once a month. I said, do you still believe that? He paused for a long time on the phone. He said, maybe twice. Isn't that something? Do you have friends in your life who love you enough to cuss you out once in a while? Do you? Do you? So, obligation, commitment to their word, particularly to themselves. On the rare occasion, Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the morning didn't mean Thursday at 10:15. And listen, when people who were super successful missed their goal, their commitment, who do you think the super successful folks blamed? Who? Themselves. How's that for weird? How's that? How's that for saying, no. They didn't come into a room 15 minutes later and say, oh yeah, you know, there's a lot of traffic. There's always a lot of traffic, son. What's wrong with you? Come on, you didn't leave early enough. Now, they said, no, I'm late, it's my fault. Oh, come on, don't worry about it. There's traffic. No, you didn't hear me. I don't think you heard me real well. It's my fault. It won't happen again. See, I had a teaching moment. It's not going to happen again. It's my fault. Now, how many people do you know like that? So our super successful friends had these three qualities. And with the third O, which is the obligation, with the third O comes today's only voluntary homework assignment. So you're going to get the best kind of homework assignment right now. It's voluntary. You don't have to do it. And I'm going to give you some more good news. You ready? You ready for the voluntary homework assignment? Obligation, number 3O, comes with a voluntary homework assignment. It's voluntary. You don't have to do it. And more good news. If you decide to do it, you can do it in 10 minutes or less. You can do it in the next 24 hours. And you can do it for free. It's not bad. What's your name? Josiah. Listen to me. This you can do in the next 10 minutes. Oh, you can do it in the next 24 hours in 10 minutes or less for free. How's that? It's not bad. And it's voluntary. I got even better news. Listen to this. If you do it, I will give you a 100% money-back guarantee that this one homework assignment, just this one homework assignment, will change your life instantly, radically, it's good, and permanently. Just this one thing. Listen to me. What's your name? Are you listening? Good. If you do this one homework assignment, change your life. I'm going to give you a guarantee. 100%. You cannot lose instantly, radically, and permanently. You ready? Okay, here's what you got to do. You got to make a commitment in the next 24 hours to go home and fire your flaky friends. You got to go home in the next 24 hours and fire your flaky friends. Why is that? Why? Because nothing will interfere with your capacity to reach your fullest and highest potential like the secondhand fumes of flakiness. Did you hear me? Do you need me to say it again? Are you sure? Nothing will interfere with your capacity to reach your fullest and highest potential like the secondhand fumes of flakiness. That's it, guys. 3 O's. 3 O's. And I believe that later today, I'm not sure how Clay has set this up exactly, but I believe that later today, I will be gifted with the opportunity of hearing and discussing some of your questions, comments, suggestions, and alternative speeches. Particularly interested in hearing from people who have some kind of silent urge inside them to come up to me and punch me in the nose. But we have, I believe, about 10 minutes left. And in that time, I'd love to just see if we could do a couple of questions, comments, suggestions, and alternative speeches. Now, I do want to tell you one last thing. You know, writing a book, very few people in the world, many people want to write a book, very few do. But it's the most unusual experience in so many ways, but here's one way. Writing a book is like putting and ask anybody who's ever written one if this is true, and I think they'll agree. I think Clay will agree and others. Writing a book is like putting a message in a bottle and throwing it out to sea. And you're never quite sure who's going to see it, if it's going to be seen. It's an odd thing. It's a very unusual thing. And so I come to Tulsa and I meet you. Some of you I meet personally, some I just meet in a group. But you know, I leave tomorrow, right? And it's an interesting thing. In a strange kind of way, I take you with me, don't I? Isn't that something? I take you with me in a strange kind of way, right? And I guess you, in a strange kind of way, particularly maybe if you took some notes, you take me with you. Isn't that interesting? And last night, you didn't even know who I was, and I didn't know who you were, and there was nothing on a book, and all the rest. Isn't that wacky? Kind of wacky thing, isn't it? And, we meet again. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we will. But isn't that, and we certainly in today's world can stay in touch via email or phone call or any you understand how that can be today, but I take you with me, and you take me with you. That's interesting. A kind of wacky thing. Never expected it. So, let's do this. We have about 7 minutes left, and I'm going to try this out. See if you like this. We're going to do men versus women. Hold on, darling. Men versus women. So, the women get to ask the first question or comment. Now, you don't have to do a question. It can be a comment. You can either choose a question or a comment. We're going to go with women first, and then we're going to go to the guys, if they've got the guts, which I doubt they do, but they might. So, you see how it is? So, women first. Who has got a question or a comment? Question or comment? Young lady, would you please stand up and tell me your first name? Angela? Sister Angela, go. I can't come, I want to, but I can't reach you. But what's your question or comment? First, is it question or comment? A question from Sister Angela. Go. Can I give you an example? By the way, yes, I can. But hold on. Yet will I? Yes, I will. But just raise your hand if any of you can think of how flakiness has cut off your potential in your life. Raise your hand. We can all give examples of some kind or another. Look, Angela, you got to make a decision on how you're going to live your life. You only get 168 hours a week, darling, and you get the same 168 that Oprah gets, and Barack Obama gets, and Bill Clinton gets, and Michael Jordan gets. You get the same 168 hours. Now, one of the problems of flakiness is really fucking expensive from a time point of view, isn't it? Chasing people around, trying to keep people. You like herding cats, darling? You got better things to do than herd cats?
This is the honey badger. Watch it run in slow motion. It's pretty badass. Look, it runs all over the place. Whoa, watch out, says that bird. Ew, it's got a snake. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. Oh my gosh. Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy. The honey badger has been referred to by the Guinness Book of World Records as the most fearless animal in all of the animal kingdom. It really doesn't give a shit. If it's hungry, it's hungry. Ew, what's that in its mouth? Oh, it's got a cobra. Oh, it runs backwards. Now watch this. Look, a snake's up in the tree. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't give a shit what it wants. Whenever it's hungry, it just, ew, and it eats snakes? Oh my god, watch it dig. Look at that digging. The honey badger is really pretty badass. They have no regard for any other animal whatsoever. Look, and it's just grunting and ew, eating snakes. Ew, what's that, a mouse? Oh, that's nasty. Oh, they're so nasty. Ooh, look, it's chasing things and eating them. The honey badgers have a fairly long body, but a distinctly thick set, broad shoulders, and, their skin is loose, allowing them to move about freely, and they twist around. Now look, here's a house full of bees. You think the honey badger cares? It doesn't give a shit. It goes right into the house of bees to get some larvae. How disgusting is that? It eats larvae. Ew, that's so nasty. But look, the honey badger doesn't care. It's getting stung like 1,000 times. It doesn't give a shit. It's hungry. It doesn't care about being stung by bees. Nothing can stop the honey badger when it's hungry. Oh, what a crazy Look, ew, it's eating larva. That's disgusting. There it is, running in slow motion again. See? Now, what's interesting is that other animals, like these birds here, they just like to wait around until the honey badger's done eating, and then it swoops in to pick up the scraps. It says, you do all the work for us, honey badger, and we'll just eat whatever you find. How's that? What do you say, stupid? Look at this bird. Thanks for the treat, stupid. Hey, come back here, says the honey badger. Birds don't care, and you know what? The jackals do it too. Look at these little dogs. They're like, thanks, stupid. Thanks for the mouse. See you later. The honey badger does all the work while these other animals just pick up the scraps. At nighttime, the honey badger goes hunting because it's hungry. Look, here comes a fierce battle between a king cobra and a honey badger. I wonder what'll happen. Look at this. There's the honey badger just eating a mouse. And then look, get away from me, says the snake. Get away from me. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger smacks the and the snake comes back and it lashes right at the honey badger. Oh, little does the honey badger know, FYI, it's been stung. It's been bitten by the snake, so while it's eating the snake, ew, that's disgusting. Meanwhile, the poisonous venom is seeping through the honey badger's body, and it passes out. Look at that sleepy Now the honey badger is just gonna pass out for a few minutes, and then it's gonna get right back up and start eating all over again, because it's a hungry little bastard. Look at this. Like nothing happened. The honey badger gets right back up and continues eating the cobra. How disgusting. And of course, what does the honey badger have to eat for the next 3 weeks? Cobra, the honey badger.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah, so here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months, or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut, and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal, and they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
Whoa! The Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops, because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specifics, the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems, so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.